Welcome into the Gridiron Grind. It's the first episode of 2025. 3-3, Jimmy G. Jimmy, what's happening, my man?
Man, glad to be back. Glad to be back. It was a long off season,
Yeah,
but I'm so ready to be back.
long
Glad it's
off
finally
season.
here.
Our hearts just being shredded to pieces. Arkansas did do better than most people thought.
Yeah,
Longhorns had a successful season, but the way it ended in the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State was rough. And then the Cowboys, of course, there's probably just no hope for the Cowboys. Um,
yeah.
so anyway,
Got the
football's
Netflix
back though.
documentary though.
Have you
There's
watched the
that.
documentary?
Not yet. I want to
Me neither.
dedicate. I
Me
want to
neither.
sit down with no interruptions and watch it.
Yeah,
I don't.
same.
You know,
I'm hoping to get to it this weekend.
that's
Maybe.
kind of my deal. Is when I've got some uninterrupted time, I want to sit down and just go through it.
Yeah.
But
I've talked to a few people who have, and they love it. They say it's maybe their favorite uh, sports documentary they've seen. Maybe they're
good.
biased, but I'm gonna try to get to it this weekend, hopefully.
I don't. I'm kind of curbing my. Like Happy Gilmore too, I liked, but I went into it going, I didn't think it was going to be, Avatar, Titanic. I didn't,
No, it was
I knew
stupid
what it was
funny.
going to be, and I
Yeah.
loved it. And so I'm going into this going, is it going to be the last dance? I don't know. I don't think so. So
Some
I'm
are
going
saying it
into it,
is.
I'm going into it lowered expectations. When you start low, there's nowhere to go but up. That's
Yeah.
my philosophy. So
All right. Well, maybe we'll get to that next week or the week after when we do our Cowboy preview. Football's back. So college football, there's even some games this weekend. I don't really honor week 0, even though Iowa State, Kansas State, Farmageddon, and playing in Dublin, Ireland. I see this as kind of the last weekend before we really get going. But we got some. We'll talk about the conferences. There's some changes in the college football playoff seeding. We'll give you our predictions of each conference, national champ, and then we got some regular season and future bets that we'll get to. So I guess first let's talk. There's changes to the college football playoff, particularly in the seeding. So it's still 12 teams, and if you
mhm.
win the first 5 conference winners are still in. But last year they had to get the first 4 had to be ranked 1 through 4. So you had Boise State with the 3 seed and Arizona State with the 4 seed. That's not going to happen anymore. It is just going to be straight seeding. So
Good.
they'll qualify. So if you have Boise State in there again, Boise State doesn't have to be the 3 or 4 seed anymore. Uh, and then, of course, the ACC was Clemson and they were the 12 seed, but they got in because they upset SMU. So you'll have, it's just, that's how there's 5 teams that can qualify by winning their conference championship. And then the next 7 who the committee deems is in there, it makes your 12. But then they take those 12 and they seed 1 through 12, like who the best. So like last year, the seeding would have been Oregon 1, Georgia 2, Texas actually would have been 3 because of the playoff committee's rankings. Instead, they got the 5 seed. So I like that change. I think it was a necessary change to prevent teams like Boise State getting a top 3 seed.
Yeah, and I agree, and I love this. There's going to be some fine tuning. We knew, that everybody loses their mind the first year of everything,
Right.
and like we said last year on the show, like we can go up in arms or we can go, hey guys, there's going to be changes, and there were, and I like it. And there's also more of an emphasis on the strength of schedule, which I agree too. And the people that don't like this go, well, you can only win the games on your schedule. They're also the same type of people that go that kind of I think believe in these UCF's national championship, and now Auburn's claiming 4 national championships. So if that's the case, I think we should be able to claim one of those Heisman trophies for Darren McFadden. Okay, yeah, I agree. You can only win the games on your schedule, but you know what? If they're not that good, go to a different conference, play tougher teams. I don't know what to tell you, but
Another,
what I do know is teams should be rewarded for having to run the gauntlet like an SEC or the Big Ten now is becoming a tougher conference. You should be rewarded for going through that conference with 0 or 1 loss than, like we've seen in years past where, oh, yeah, I beat up the WAC or, the Pac 12 when it was just nobody but USC. and maybe Oregon. And yeah, I'm undefeated. And it's like, okay, well, you reward the record as opposed to the body of work. So I'm more of a body of work kind of guy. So I agree with the emphasis on the strength of schedule.
Yeah, because Oregon was undefeated, 12-0, won the Big Ten last year, so 13-0, and they kind of got screwed because yes,
Mhm.
they got a bye, but Ohio State was the most talented team in the country, and they got an 8 seed, and they had to play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. And of course, Ohio State in the rematch just smoked them. So I think it's more favorable. The higher seed you are, the more favorable it is. And I think that was a necessary change. Let's jump into our conference previews, predictions. We'll start with the SEC. In my mind, I think there's three teams at the top: Texas, Georgia, Alabama. I don't think LSU's there. They're getting a lot of love. I still worry about their defense. I will say, like if you had, I mean, what do you think? I think it's Texas, Georgia, Alabama. I think Georgia will have the best record in the regular season, and I think Texas will make the championship game again. So I think it'll be a rematch of the championship last year, but this year I'm picking Texas to win the SEC in a rematch win from last year. What are your thoughts?
I actually like LSU because of their experience at quarterback with Nussmeier.
Yep.
Um, so I like Texas. My prediction is Texas LSU. I have Georgia and Florida as two teams that can come in there. Florida, DJ Lagway, his experience, I mean, he is phenomenal. He can take the game over. South Carolina and Sellers, I mean, they could be the Cinderella team of this whole year, may potentially make the playoffs. Anything can happen, but LSU and Texas. Texas to me, obviously, they're going to go as Arch Manning goes. Arch Manning is in the best spot to me of any quarterback. There's so much around him that it's going to be hard for him not to succeed.
I agree
Like
with that.
there's so much offense around him that it's almost going to be like you're in the pool playing 500 or jackpot, whatever you call it. You just throw it up, right? And then hey, it doesn't. Nobody comes down with it. Don't worry, we'll get it back. Defense goes, hey, don't worry, Arch, we'll get it back. They go out there, defense goes to work. They're going to get the ball. Arch is going to have some opportunity to work through the growing pains. He's not necessarily going to be thrown to the fire. Obviously, he played some last year, so he got some of that, the first time jitters, the freshman, the nervousness out. But this year in his first full starting, there's so much at that Texas team has that arches. I think Texas is going to be there, but then LSU with Brian Kelly and Nussmeier, I think they can make up for what they lack on defense just with the experience at
Well,
quarterback.
and LSU, yeah, you're right. I mean, they got the experienced quarterback, and they're going to have to because their defense was awful last year. Now they did portal some dudes, see if they gel together. Um, you know, this is a crazy year in the whole country because there's not a unanimous favorite. I mean, Texas is unanimous number one preseason, but it's a preseason poll. Everybody's just guessing right now. I think everybody, all the top teams, have question marks. I mean, Texas, you got new quarterback replacing the offensive line. They got a good defense returning. They lost some key guys, but they have some key guys returning. I think Texas is going to have the best pass rush in the country.
Yeah.
But Texas also got to step up at wide receiver. All their receivers, starting receivers and tight end was gone from last year. They did portal in, but you take Georgia, same situation. Is Georgia's
Mhm.
defense going to be able to sustain losing all those guys again for the fourth year in a row? Is their offensive line going to be better? New quarterback. Alabama, new quarterback. Are they going to be better on defense? LSU, are they going to be better on defense? I mean, around the country, we'll talk about the other teams. Everybody's got question marks. I don't think you can really say there's one team or even two or three teams that are shoe-ins, but so I like Texas. So who do you have winning the SEC?
I think I'm going to go with LSU.
Okay.
I'm going
Jimmy's
to go with
going with the
LSU.
Bayou Bengals. All right. I
Yeah.
like Texas over Georgia. Jimmy likes LSU over Texas. Big Ten. Favorite to win the Big Ten. it's kind of gone back and forth. I've been keeping an
Hmm.
eye on it. You have Penn State and you have Ohio State are the two favorites. I'm down on Ohio State this year. I mean, I think they still might make the playoffs. I just don't think when you lose both coordinators and maybe the best defensive coordinator in the country, and you replace him with what you're replacing him with, and you got a new quarterback, and early reports are they did name Julian Sayin as quarterback at Ohio State. Early reports he hasn't looked great, but that could just be they're trying to downplay it, and maybe he's going to come out and look amazing against Texas. But he's a freshman, redshirt freshman. I think I do not like Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator. Penn State, I really like Penn State. The problem is, how much do you trust Drew Aller and James Franklin? That's the question I have with Penn State. Of course, you had team Indiana made the playoffs last year. Are they going to be as good? They lose their quarterback. Everybody likes Illinois, but I don't know about your boy Brett Bielema if he's ready for that. Nebraska could be a dark horse. There's Michigan, USC, and don't forget about Oregon. Oregon was the number one seed last year.
Yeah.
I think the Big Ten is a very good league. I'm going to go with Penn State uh, to win the Big Ten, and I'll say they will. I'll say they play Ohio State in the championship, and I'm gonna say Penn State. I think they have the best roster. I'm worried. I'm not gonna bet it because I don't trust James Franklin to put money on it, but I'm gonna go with Penn State in the Big Ten.
That's who I have too. That same matchup, Penn State, Ohio State. I think Ohio State gets in there, luckily. But Penn State, again, like you said, Oregon reloads after losing everyone to the NFL. They could easily be there. Penn State, they do bring back Drew Aller and both the running backs, Singleton and Allen. But like you said, it's James Franklin. Same story, different year.
Yeah.
Can't do it. It might really be Key or Peel. I can't. I don't know
Yeah, I
which
can't.
one's
I don't know which
which.
one, but that's
I guess it's
funny
Key. I
when he
guess it's
does that.
Keegan Michael Key because
Yeah.
Jordan Peele's the one that did the movie. So it might really be Key right there coaching them. Because again, year in year out, again just can't get over the hump. And but yeah, I think Penn State beats Ohio State in the Big Ten.
All right, so we both like Penn State. Next conference is the ACC, and I don't really have much because I think it's Clemson and that's it. I think I don't know. Last year, ACC
Mhm.
got two teams in. SMU because somehow they were able to win a lot of close games, and then Clemson got to the title, upset SMU, and then they both got in. SMU got in over Alabama. So you had two team league last year. I don't know if anybody, I mean, SMU has a lot of dudes back. Maybe SMU makes a run again. I don't trust Florida State to rebound. I don't like the quarterback, Castillo. Miami, I I don't know how they're going to be better than they were last year. Cam Ward was phenomenal, but their defense was one of the worst defenses in Power Five. So I just don't know if there's anybody that can challenge Clemson and be good enough to get into the tournament. So I like Clemson. I'm gonna go with my surprise team in the ACC. I think Georgia Tech makes the conference championship, and I'm gonna say
Okay.
Clemson basically runs away with it. If Clemson beats LSU in the opener next weekend, Clemson might go undefeated. I just don't see anybody in the ACC. Clemson's good. Um,
I got I got Clemson too. I got Clemson SMU. Klubnik's finally, I don't think he's living up to the full billing, but Klubnik is he's seasoned, so is Clemson offense. Miami, like you said, bringing in Carson Beck from Georgia. He's already cheated on his girlfriend, one half of those basketball twins. They set his Ferrari on fire. You know, how fast can they get going? But like you said, like how I don't know how they can be. I mean, Cam Ward was him and they still couldn't get it done. Rhett Lashley lost a bunch in the portal, brings a lot. He lives in that portal, so I think the ponies can probably be about like the same. I think the O line for SMU is going to be really good, so I think that can again help them win some close games. So yeah, I think Clemson and SMU make it, and I think Clemson wins it just on that experience. And like you said, I think it's Clemson's conference, but I think they got to go. I think they got to beat SMU to get it.
SMU also, they get their quarterback back. They get Jennings back.
Yep.
Like I said, their offensive line is going to be very good at SMU. I worry about the skill talent. I think Clemson receivers are really good. I think Klubnik's going to play himself. I expect a big year from him just from what I saw. I mean, he had a really good game against Texas in the playoff. Um, he had like 300 and I want to say 360 yards, something like that. But he made some fade routes on the sideline where there wasn't a lot of space, and he threw some dimes in there. I was really impressed. And Texas was number three defense in the country last year, number three in pass defense as well. I was impressed. I think he builds on that. I think he has a phenomenal year. Wouldn't be surprised if we're talking he might be the top quarterback. Him and Nussmeier, top two quarterbacks taken off the board.
His legs,
And then you got that.
his maturity, but his maturity in when to run and his, I mean, he's got some giddy up. He surprises people. I think he surprises defenders on how quick he can kind of get out and run, and then he's kind of hard to catch. He's not, he's not Lamar Jackson by any means, but I think he can. That to me has been impressive. Obviously, like you said, him making these throws, he's kind of coming into his own. But yeah, like his ability, his mental maturity on when to tuck it and go, and then his ability to pick up big yardage with his legs and keep the drive moving has really impressed me.
Yeah, he's very good. All right, so we both like Clemson in the ACC. Let's go to the Big 12. Surprise, surprise, Big 12 is wide open again. This is like one of the best conferences. I don't care what people say, uh, because it's so unpredictable. It always has been, or at least the last 10 years or so. 10, 15 years, it's just unpredictable. There's so many teams that it's it's so competitive. They don't have any elite teams by any means, but they have a bunch of teams that are close to each other, and it's
Yeah.
competitive. It's fun to watch. The betting market's all over the place. You would think Arizona State would be the runaway favorite here because they made the playoff, took Texas to double overtime. They get their quarterback back. They get their one of the top receivers in the country back. But the betting market isn't really backing Arizona State. It's really kind of all over the place. There's a lot of love for Kansas State. I'm not sold on Avery Johnson, the quarterback at Kansas State. I kind of like Baylor. Baylor's got a tough schedule, so that I'm not picking Baylor. Uh, and then some people are on Texas Tech because one of the top two transfer portal classes, and everybody knows about the money they're spending to bring people in to compete. I'm just not sold on Joey McGuire. And people in Lubbock love him to death. I'm not sure how if he really can get big games done. I like Utah. I'm going to pick Utah to win the Big 12. Kyle Winningham, I expect them to bounce back. They had a down year their first year in the Big 12. They're a hard nose. They got a lot of older players, veteran team. I expect Utah to bounce back, kind of sleeper run. They do have the third best odds in the Big 12. I'm picking Utah to win it, and I'll go with Arizona State. I'm going to say Utah beats Arizona State for the Big 12 championship.
I thought I was going to be able to sneak one in. I have Arizona State and Utah in the Big 12
Oh, wow.
championship too. I have Arizona State winning it because of Levitt and Tyson. Arizona State returns the most experience in the conference and the best QB, in my opinion, best QB and wide receiver duo in Levitt and Tyson. But yeah, Utah, anytime your team is upperclassmen, it's what always made BYU so good, year in, year out. It's what makes them, you can't really just kind of roll in either to Provo or have them come to you, and you got to take them serious, regardless if they're ranked or not, because they're always upperclassmen. And regardless what team it is, when you're led by upperclassmen, you're going to have an advantage. And Utah and Arizona State are this year. And so that was, I was hoping maybe I could get Utah in on you. But yeah, I have those two, and I have Arizona State
Right.
beating
We didn't
Utah.
talk about that before, but yeah,
Right.
I just I think Utah is pretty good. Going to be pretty good. I think it's a surprise team. I think they'd be a good bet. I'm going to place a bet for them to win the Big 12 because it's a
I
good.
switched them up from Kansas State. That's another one that I could see being there because again, they're led by upperclassmen.
They are.
Again, Kansas State's one of those teams that's always in there. They find a way. But I'm going Utah.
So you're going Arizona State over Utah, and I got Utah over Arizona State.
Yep.
All right, so we got a 12-team playoff. I can see the Big Ten and the SEC getting 4 in apiece, and then Notre Dame's. I think Notre Dame probably makes it again. They got. I think Notre Dame goes 10-2. They'll make it. They went 11-1 last year. They only lost to Northern Illinois. Um, I think Notre Dame gets in. I think the ACC and the Big 12 only get 1 in apiece. I just don't think they're strong leagues, and then their champs get in. So national champ. Now, people are going to think this is a homer pick. And I will say, in all the years dating back to 2010, we've done the gridiron grind. I've never picked Texas to win the national
Yeah.
championship on our show preseason. That streak ends today. Because why not? I don't know if I said I don't think there's a favorite. Here's what I'm basing that pick off of. I think Texas is going to have the best defense in the country. I think they have the number one pass rush in the country. I think they portaled in interior defensive linemen help stop the run and gap from what they lost. I think Anthony Hill is the best linebacker in the country. He should have won the Buckus Award last year. He had better stats than the guy who did win it. I think he's phenomenal. He had double-digit sacks from the linebacker position. And then we return enough safety wise, Michael Taft, Eric Williams, safety. You return 2 cornerbacks that played a lot. I mean, you lose your best safety and corner, Jahdae Barron and Andrew Makuba to the draft, but I just think the experience, the talent on their defense, and then obviously a lot is based on Arch's got to be, and I think he's going to be. I think this is the quarterback Steve Sarkisian has been dreaming about ever since he got into coaching. I think I am anticipating this is a perfect match. And I don't want to hear that, well, he couldn't beat out Ewers. He was never going to bench Quinn Ewers. He was loyal to Ewers. He started him for 3 years. That just wasn't going to happen. That's not how Sark rolls. He's a loyal dude, especially at the quarterback position. But I think Arch is going to be way better than Quinn Ewers. I think Arch is had this is 3rd year now in the system. I think this is a perfect match between Sark and Arch, and I think Arch is going to be a very, very good quarterback come December. And I think he's going to hopefully peak at the right time. And again, I'm going with what I think is the best defense in the country. Give me Texas, national champ over Penn State.
Over Penn State.
Over Penn
Wow. Okay.
State, just because their roster is so good. I just don't
hmm
trust James Franklin to win it all.
I do not trust. I don't trust Keegan Michael Key. I don't trust
Now you,
him.
now you did pick
I
Texas last year to win the national
I
championship.
know. I called it. I said that is an elite defense, and I think you're right again. And like I said, I don't think your Texas pick is stupid. The Texas haters, I think, instantly will
Or call
say
me a
it.
homer. A
Yeah,
comments.
they call you Homer. But again, I think everything around Arch is so good that even if Arch is bad, he's going to have multiple chances. Texas, I think, will be in every game, if not
Yeah.
blowing teams out. Even if they're down, they will be in every game this year because they're going to be so good that even if Arch is having a bad game, they're going to be like, guys, don't worry. We're going to give you enough chances to get your crap together to get back on track because of how good that defense is. And we're going to give you enough chances till it clicks. For my national championship, I'm going LSU Notre Dame.
Okay.
And I really wanted to go Notre Dame,
And you hate
but
Notre Dame.
and I do. I dislike Notre Dame because of the Notre Dame homers, that whole, and it's all because of one quote. College football is better when Notre Dame is good. No, that's only true to Notre Dame people.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
all that it's
I don't have a problem with them. I like when
you know
they're,
what I mean? That's like the
it doesn't bother me
Oklahoma
when they're not.
Nebraska is one of the best rivalries. No, it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's not anymore. It's dead. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those type things. But I go LSU Notre Dame because I think Notre Dame, other than quarterback, might be up there when we're talking one of the most complete teams in college football this year. They can run the football. They
Yes.
play hard on defense. They fly the ball, and their ability to grind you out on the ground with those 2 running backs, I think, is going to give them a big advantage throughout the year. I have LSU beating Notre Dame because of their experience at quarterback. I have LSU somehow winning the national championship over Notre Dame.
That defense is gonna have to get you. I will say, I do like Notre Dame,
I think LSU might just outscore,
and they might.
somehow figure out a way to just outscore some
Very
people
possible.
somehow.
Very possible. If Nussmeier gets hot and they protect him, I mean, they got weapons. Yeah, he could have a one of those seasons. Notre Dame is, first of all, one of the best receiving corps in the country.
Yeah.
They got two dudes coming back that were freshmen last year that balled out. They're back and they'll be better. Um, their offensive line, people forget they lost two starting offensive linemen in preseason camp last year. Didn't phase them one bit. They just breed
Right.
offensive linemen. So you know their lines will be good. Their defense, they were the number one defense in the country last year. And they get some of those dudes back. They lost the Watts kid, maybe the best defender, one of the best defenders in the country. He got drafted. But their secondary's elite, their corners at safety, their D line's good, their linebackers are very good. I think I like Notre Dame a lot. So, all right, there you have it. Jimmy's got LSU over Notre Dame. I got Texas over Penn State. Let's get winding down our show. Let's get to our regular season win totals. I got five.
I got 9.
You got nine. I got
Yeah.
seven future bets though. So
Okay.
like conference champ predicting who's going to win the conference championship. So
Okay. I just have season win totals.
you just have to say, all right, I just I like a lot of futures this year. So all right,
I get
we'll just roll through it then. My first one, Jimmy's not gonna like it. I tried to pick one per conference, but I didn't have one in the ACC
yeah.
I liked. But in the SEC, I'm gonna go Arkansas under 5.5. I think this is a dark year for the Hogs. I think
Yep.
everybody loves Pittman, but I think going 5-7 uh, could be the nail that gets him removed. I don't know how invested Bobby P is. They do have Taylor Green. They lost so many guys to the portal. They have a brutal schedule again. I
Hmm.
think this is the year that Arkansas might not make a bowl, go under 5.5. That's first one, Jimmy.
I have that same one too, Trev. Under 5.5. That's funny. Um,
Yeah.
for the exact same reasons. I go, and I don't know if they do a Petrino kind of coach in waiting type deal. I don't know. It now it's not only who's the right coach, but who does your NIL who do the NIL boosters back? Who does Calipari in basketball? Why is that working? Well, it's because one of the Tyson chicken folks, John Tyson, he's behind
Stepped
him.
it up.
So he's putting in money. You got to have that now. And if you don't, then it kind of doesn't matter who's backing you. It's like the coach can only do so much. I think that's part of the reason Saban, we talk about it, why Saban got out. Saban's going, yeah, me walking in your living room ought to mean something. And it still did. It was Nick Saban, but also when kids are going, that's great, coach, but also I want 1.2. Like that's
Yeah.
he was done with it. And
Different world then.
so yeah, different world. So yeah, I think Arkansas goes under. And sadly, I think Sam Pittman leaves
Yeah.
or is fired. And he's a great guy. I
Absolutely.
just not the guy. Yep. So yeah, I have the same bet. Arkansas under 5.5.
All right. My next one is Ohio State under 10.5. I'm down on Ohio State this year. They got a new quarterback, not great reports. I do think they have the best offensive player in the country in Jeremiah Smith,
Mm-hmm.
sophomore, and I think they have the best defensive player in the country in Caleb Downs, safety. He'll be draft eligible. But I don't like Matt Patricia as their defense coordinator. I think he costs them at least one game. I think they will lose at least one of Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, if not two. If they lose two, I win the bet. But I also think they're going to lose a game they should not have lost.
Yep.
So I think they're
Illinois.
gonna, yeah, I mean,
They're
so
gonna lose one game like that.
they'll lose a game they should not lose because Patricia he'll have a terrible game plan. He'll try, he thinks he's smarter than everybody. So I'm going to Ohio State under 10.5. The juice is a little up there, minus 160, but I think it's worth it. I think we can win this bet by October. Uh, Ohio State under 10.5.
I had the same bet for the same reason. Matt Patricia, Dan Campbell is who Matt Patricia thinks he is. He tried that when he was in Detroit, tried doing all that, and the guys just didn't respond to it. Matt Patricia doesn't have the skins on the wall, and he's just not, like you said, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he's not. And you're
Yeah.
right. I predict he's going to lose a game he shouldn't, like Notre Dame losing Northern Illinois.
Yep.
It's going to be something awful like that. It's going to be something terrible, and that's all we need. We need one of those type games, and then I don't think he can run through that Big Ten gauntlet. And that's it. That's all we need. Our Ohio State under 10 and a half.
I got another Big Ten one. Rutgers over 5.5. Greg Schiano's still the head coach. That's a hard-nosed football team. That was a fun team to watch last year. Not very talented, but they play hard. And I give me a coach who coaches hard and a team who plays hard for him, and I will root for you and watch as much as I can. I think Rutgers makes a bowl. Give me Rutgers over 5.5.
Love it. UNLV over 8.5. That's a lot of wins for first year coach Dan Mullen. But
Yeah,
if anyone can rally some guys, it's Dan Mullen. Dak's coach there at Mississippi State. I mean, Dan Mullen is a great coach, great motivator. And I think with the guys he got in the portal, I mean, he basically has taken guys that 4 and 5 star guys from everybody else's team that didn't play, got upset, maybe got in trouble, and they've all gone to UNLV. And I'm going, these guys were rated that for a reason. These guys all wanted a second chance. They become like basically the last chance you of Division I football is UNLV. And I think they're going to get some. I think they're going to surprise some people. I think Vegas put it 8.5. I think they squeak out 9. I think they win the Mountain West. Also, by the way,
really.
but
Boy, that's an
yeah,
upset pick.
I think
What was the
UNLV.
pick? You
Yeah,
have?
UNLV over 8.5.
All right, Big 12. I got one in the Big 12. Houston over 6.5. The Cougars, they return a good amount of players. Remember, it was Willie Fritz's first year at Houston last year. Came from Tulane, kind of took the job late. Look, remember how
Mhm.
successful he was at Tulane. Remember that
Yeah,
Cotton Bowl where he beat US Lincoln Riley and USC? They were good at Tulane. Now he's at Houston, first year, some bumps. Didn't have the quality of players to compete in the Big 12. Um, but he's restocked portal. And let's not forget who the quarterback is. Connor Wegman, the former 5-star, transferred from A&M. I think he could light up the Big 12. I think Houston gets to 8 wins this year. I think Houston can go 8-4. They have a very, very favorable schedule. Give me Houston over 6.5.
I like it. Texas over 9.5. You know, I think we both are pretty high on Texas, and I think 9.5, just not enough. I think it's going to be
Is
a
it
big
down to
year for the
nine and a
Horns, and
half?
I think double-digit wins are in the cards.
Yeah.
Yep, nine
They
and a
went
half. Get it
Texas have
in
been 11
now. I
and
think
1
it'll
in
go
the
up.
last 11 and 1 last 2 seasons. Wow. Yeah.
I'm saying nine and
Gotta
a
look
half.
out.
Couldn't believe it.
All right, my
Lock it in.
last regular season win total. Um, Army. I hate to do it, but Army under 7.5. They are two reasons. One, they lose their quarterback and they lose a ton of players. They only return like 9 total players, nine
Right.
total starters from last year. So that's gonna be tough with that offense. And they're gonna have to play some younger cats. Um, and they're not gonna be as good on defense. The second reason is they're in the American Athletic Conference now. Remember, they were independent, so they played an easier schedule. Well, I think they're getting a lot of pub off of that. The AAC ain't no joke. It's a lot harder schedule, and I don't know if Army's ready for that. I think they've got too many young guys. I don't think Army gets to 8 wins, so give me Army under 7.5. Actually, I think they might have 6 and then play Navy. I think the winner Army Navy might be playing for the 7th win, if my prediction. So Army under 7.5.
All right. South Carolina over 7.5. I think South Carolina might be the darling of the SEC this year, the Cinderella story. Um, I think they upset Alabama. And I
I
think
think
that's
so
going to be
too.
a
It'll
huge,
be in Columbus.
mhm. I think that's going to be a huge win. Again, I think they're going to be the sleeper team there, and I think they get it done. I think 7.5 is just too low. Give me over 7.5 for South Carolina Gamecocks.
All right, my future bets. I got I'm gonna go in the SEC. I think you got to I'm gonna bet both Texas and Georgia. So Texas is plus 300, Georgia's plus 350. I think the great chance that at least one of them is in the conference championship. And that's really all you need because then you can hedge your bet if you want to. Or if you get both of them in Texas, Georgia, it's automatic winner.
No. Yep.
I think that's a good bet. I mean, if you liked LSU, you could do Texas LSU if you wanted to, but I think
Mhm.
that's a good way to try to make some money. You need one to get in, and then you can hedge. If you get both in, you're dancing pretty. So I'm gonna go Texas and Georgia both to win the SEC. Texas plus 300, Georgia plus 350.
Like LSU over 8.5. I'm high on the Bayou Bengals. For them to have the type of season I think they're going to have, 8.5 is way too low. Again, the experience at quarterback, the weapons on offense. Um, I just think 8.5 is too low. So give me over 8.5 for LSU.
In the ACC, I like Clemson. It's not a huge return, but I just think you're getting plus money, plus 110 only. But you bet $100, you'd win 110. I just don't think there's anybody who's going to beat Clemson in the ACC. If it's plus money, I'll take that. I'll take some return. So Clemson to win the ACC.
A team you talked about earlier that I think is going to be the surprise team in the ACC, Georgia Tech, over 7.5. I think 7.5 is way too low. Georgia
Yep.
Tech is a team that could be in the ACC championship game. And in order for them to get there, again, 7.5, that's way too low. I think they hit that even if they don't make the championship game. So give it to me, Georgia Tech over 7.5.
For my next one, I'm going to go with Utah to win the Big 12. It's a big payout. It's plus 500. So you bet 100 to win
Yeah,
500. It is I mean, it's wide open, the Big 12, as we talked about earlier. Let me look. Let's look at the Big 12 odds. Kansas State's at plus 500. Utah is co-favorite now at plus 500. Arizona State's at plus 550. Texas Tech plus 550. And then you go Baylor plus 850. I think it's wide open. Utah's the goodest chance of anything. I'll risk some dough on Utah for a big payout.
yeah. Shoot, man, why not? Um, Man, I might have to get in on some of that. I didn't have it written down though, so I'm
Well,
not going to
listen.
count it.
Well,
But
think about it. We've done this in the past. Maybe we ought to do it again. In the Big 12, if you bet Kansas State, Utah, Arizona State, and Texas Tech, you bet $100 on each one of those four. Well, the payout's at least 500. So you would be guaranteed if one
yeah,
of those, so let's say in that scenario, Utah wins. Well, you just risk 400. You're going to get 100 of the bet back from Utah plus
yeah,
500. So you're guaranteed. All you need is one of those four teams to win it, and you get.
yeah.
And then if you get you if one of just
Two
one
of them, man.
gets in, you
Yeah,
get edge against the other team, or if two of them gets in, it's a guaranteed winner.
yeah. Well, we did that at K-State and Oklahoma State, didn't we?
Yeah, we did that. Well, actually, I think we bet everybody. It was like in 22. We bet everybody but Texas and Oklahoma,
Yeah,
and that's why it was
something like
Baylor
that.
and Oklahoma State played. And
That's
I
yeah,
mean, that was the greatest bet we ever made. We might
yeah,
have to do that again. The odds are giving us the opportunity to do it again because it's a guaranteed winner. We just that season we just needed Texas and OU not to make the championship, and they didn't.
yeah, and that worked.
Do
Yeah.
that. Bet the four best teams in the Big 12. One of those four teams win it. It's a pretty solid payout.
Okay.
Betting
All right.
advice. That's what we're here for, folks. Put money in your pocket to gridiron grind.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to send any of it our way. Just pay it forward. You know,
Yep.
pay it forward. For mine, Arizona State over 8.5. Again, one of those teams Trey just talked about. It's got plus five, I think 550, he said. Well, if they're going to make the Big 12 championship game, they're probably going to need to win more than 8 games. So give me over 8.5, Arizona State.
Like I said when we talked about them earlier, I don't understand why the Sharps aren't on Arizona State. They're not betting them like I thought they'd be bet. I thought they'd be the overwhelming favorite for the Big 12. And then
Yeah, that concerns me a little bit too, because if it smells funny, it usually is funny when it comes to
those guys
betting.
do this for a living.
Yeah,
I love their coach. Their quarterback is great. They've got a good receiver. I mean, maybe because they're replacing the running back Scadaboo, but I mean, maybe they just think that was he was so much of their team, and maybe so their defense was
Maybe.
surprisingly good. I don't know, but I don't see how they're not going to be good.
Right. I'm with you.
So,
I'm taking eight and
all
a
right.
half.
Next, one of my favorite teams in the country. I am. Last year I was off of them. This year I'm back on them. Give me the meat.
Whoa.
UTSA Roadrunners to win the American Athletic Conference plus 450. They are the only team. A little trivia fact for you, Jimmy. They are the only team in the country to return all 11 starters on offense.
Ooh.
They return.
Pretty impressive, especially in the transfer portal era.
Exactly.
Then
You
you had
got
the NIL transfer portal era. That's pretty impressive down there.
exactly. And they have one of our favorite coaches. I mean, you both love him, Jeff Traylor. I
Yep.
think this is we're back
Phenomenal
on
guy.
the meat train. UTSA Roadrunners to win the American Athletic Conference plus 450.
It's a good bet. He's a good guy. I root for them.
Yep.
Good for them, man. I hope they do it. I hope they do it. So my last one, Alabama under 9.5. They got to go to Georgia. They got to go to South Carolina, and they got to break in a new QB. I just don't think that Ryan Williams kid's good, but who's throwing him the ball? Good
It's
luck.
true.
Anytime you break in a new QB, I mean, you're in the post Saban era. Kalen DeBoer is a great coach, and he's had some success, but again, Jalen Milroe, all those guys are Saban's guys. He's getting his guys in there, and you're breaking in a new quarterback. I think this might be one of those years they only win 9, and everyone's just calling, oh, the panic alarm is going off in Tuscaloosa, and Auburn's going to be licking their chops. They're going to be seeing because
Don't
Auburn. Have
forget.
you heard this? Auburn is they've been leaking that they're about to be these big major players in the NIL game. That all their alumni and boosters, they're just slowly. They've been playing it real slow, building this
Sure.
monster NIL mega machine, and they're waiting
Sure.
for the right time to pounce. And I think I don't know how much of that I believe,
I believe
you
zero
know,
of it.
exactly, but I believe that they believe it. And I believe that
Oh, I
this
think.
will be a 9-win season for Bama. And I believe that Auburn believes it'll be their time to strike.
Well,
And
on your Auburn take, I will say this: the game is in Auburn this year, the Iron
see,
Bowl. It'll be Kellen DeBoer's first time Iron Bowl on the road. And remember last time they caught that one, they Auburn should have won. I mean,
huh,
Auburn always has a chance against Alabama in Auburn. Now in
yeah,
Alabama they don't, but in Auburn they got a chance, and I think this could be the first one. It might be the win Hugh Freeze needs. I think Auburn's are going to be bad this year. I would think Jackson Arnold's not very good. I Have you
yeah.
seen the videos of Hugh Freeze just chewing him out because he wouldn't throw the football in 7-on-7?
Yes. And then Hugh Freeze, like you're a quarterback, Trey, so you'll know this. It's like if you've got anytime the coach says you got 2 quarterbacks, you got no quarterback. Well,
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze is like, I've got 3 quarterbacks. What does that say?
Well, have you
You know?
also heard what they're doing on their play calling? They're,
No.
they have three different guys who are going to call plays, Jimmy. They have somebody to call first down, somebody to call second down, a different one to call third down. Hugh Freeze will call fourth down if he gets to it.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't hear that. I did hear him go that he's brought in somebody that's going to basically call the plays, but then Hugh Freeze will okay the plays. And like if he doesn't like it, he'll override the play after
Yes,
it's
and then
called.
he said he has override ability on all play calls.
I go, this is going to be disastrous because Hugh Freeze is not going to let the coordinators coordinate. And this is going to be a big ego match. And then you bring in Jackson Arnold, who I didn't think was impressive at Oklahoma.
No.
Now you bring him down to Auburn, where expectations again, oh, we're waiting on our right time and we're going to overtake. We're going to be the team of the state of Alabama now that Saban's gone. And
And Jimmy, another point to your Alabama under 9.5. They also have LSU on the schedule. So they got LSU. They have, would you say they're at Georgia, and they got to go to Auburn for the first time. New quarterback. So I like that bet. I think Alabama could go 9-3. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. With a lot of questions from a lot of teams, especially with new quarterbacks. My last one, James Madison, the Dukes. I
Hmm.
got them to win the Sun Belt at plus 225. They are heavy favorites, but you're still getting plus money like 225 on
Hmm.
a $100 bet. The next one is like plus 700. So really, if the Dukes can just get into the tournament or in the championship, which I think they will, then you can hedge if you want to and guarantee yourself a winner. So I think James Madison is going to be very good. I am even thinking about placing a bet for them to make the playoff. Uh, Scares me a
Whoa,
little bit. It's a huge payout. It's like 1,200.
golly.
So you'd have to dodge the Boise State bullet. You need to
Yeah.
upset the Mountain West, or if UNLV, you need UNLV not to have 10 or 11 wins.
Hmm.
And then all those American Athletic Conference teams, you need UTSA not to be as good, Memphis not and Tulane not to be as good. You need an upset. You'd have to have an upset. Boise State's gonna have to be upset, and then an upset maybe in the American. And then I think James Madison could sneak into the playoff.
Wow. What a year. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
How would you like to be the 5 seed though? Still, you get the 5 seed. You don't get a bye, but you get to host a playoff first round game, and you get to host it against James Madison.
You would you would have fans going, this is easy. And then
True.
you'd have fans going, guys, no.
Oh well,
If we
yeah.
don't take this serious, they're gonna roll us. And
I will say,
then,
I will
you
say
know,
this. So I have Texas season tickets, and how so Texas was the 5 seed and got to host Clemson last year in the first round of the playoffs. I am very pro having playoff games home field. It was awesome.
mhm,
It was a great time.
yeah,
Obviously Texas won, made it better. It would have been terrible if they'd have lost, but just
yeah,
the atmosphere. It was a playoff game. It was a little chilly, wasn't too bad. It's Austin, December, but I think I almost think if I was a coach, yeah, you get a bye, but if you did 16 teams, there would be no buys, but you'd get to host a first round. And a lot of people think we should do host sites the first 2 rounds. And maybe so. I think it's a
mm,
huge advantage to play at home in the
mm,
playoffs. And it was a great atmosphere. All the games were like you watched on TV, Penn State hosting
yeah,
SMU, Notre Dame hosted Indiana, and the other one was Ohio State hosting Tennessee that Saturday night.
mhm,
It was a lot of fun having a home playoff game. And put it this way, if Texas gets the 5 seed or gets to host again, I wouldn't be mad not getting a bye
right,
because I mean I still have to pay for the tickets, but I get first dibs because I'm a season ticket
sure,
holder. So they offer them to me first, and if I want them, I would imagine every season ticket holder took them. The price was more than a regular season, but not only by like 20 or $30. So which is you'd think fair.
yeah, it's amazing. But then you get to go, like you said, you're getting to go to the playoff game for cheaper than you'd ever get to go to one ever in your
Well,
life.
put it this way, it was yeah. So me and my two brothers went to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas against Ohio State. And we were pretty high up there, and we paid
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
significantly
mean,
more
it's
money to watch that game than we did in Austin.
yep, worth it.
And that one I hated it because we lost, and I spent probably too much money on the ticket. Oh well, part of being a fan.
Yep,
Anyway, all right. So that's our first show in the books. That's kind of our preseason college preview. We'll be back. We're here every week now, from now until the Super Bowl. That's how many we did last year.
yep,
Um, so we're going to try to get these things out every Thursday. I mean, our schedules sometimes change. Sometimes it won't be out till Friday, maybe. Just depends. This week it's coming out on Friday, just because we had to record this on Thursday. But we usually try to get them out every Thursday. That way, because we try to cover the Thursday night games, especially when the NFL gets kicked off. So we'll try to have these out every Thursday, but we'll be here. Look, check every Thursday, check our Instagram. Somebody was talking to me about that today. We need to do a better job keeping that up to date. That's what we're going to do with
Okay.
our scheduling our shows and stuff on Instagram. Use our social media more. But obviously, everybody that's listened to the show before, we're on YouTube and we're on Apple Podcasts. Uh, so that's the two platforms we're on right now, and we're there again this year. So YouTube, Apple Podcasts, check us out. Gridiron Grind, both of those. Check us out. We're on Twitter and on Instagram. Jimmy, final thoughts, episode 1 of 2025.
Man, I'm excited to be back. I love it, getting back into the groove, trying to find something to hang on the door back here to you know, last year, last couple of years it's been a jersey for the college and a jersey for the Cowboys show. So I don't know if I'm going to go back with that. Of course, I had the picture of the wife chugging wine.
Yeah,
Might
those are
bring
always a
that
good
back.
touch.
Might change stuff up. I don't know, but I've been thinking about that. All I know is I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. I love this time of year.
Love it.
Love sports, but really love football. Even though I don't really have much to look forward to this season, Arkansas predictions, but I still love it. Just love this time of year because anything can happen now.
It's the best part of the year. Fall's the best part.
Mhm.
Labor Day is one of my favorite weekends because you get football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday Labor Day game. We got some good games next week.
Yeah,
I mean, you got like Auburn Baylor. I'm interested to see Auburn Baylor on Friday night next week. And then, of course, you got Texas, Ohio State on Saturday. You also have Alabama, Florida State. Is Florida State going to be better? And then the nightcap Saturday night's LSU and Clemson, which talk about a couple bangers week
yeah,
one. And then on Sunday, I think we get Notre Dame, Miami.
yeah. How about that? I
I
mean,
mean,
that game right out of the gate, you could have the tone set week one. You could have the tone set. I mean, and Auburn Baylor, you could go, Auburn could come out and look good. You go, whoa, okay, they're a lot better than we thought. Or Baylor, that could have Big 12
it's a
implications,
huge
major
game for
Big 12
Baylor.
implications. Go, whoa, Baylor's looking like they may, they'd be a lot better than you thought. Alabama could come out and go, whoa, it's over early. Alabama's going to be struggling all year, or they may go, oh crap, Alabama's better than everybody thought. I mean, these week one matchups, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Now's
week
the
one.
time. I love it because I can just be glued to the couch all weekend.
I'm excited. I'm so excited for this season. I mean, Texas preseason number one. First time Texas ever been preseason number one in the AP poll. I'm excited as a Texas fan for that, for us and our team, but just as a college football fan, because I think it's wide open. I think you could make a case, 10, maybe even 15 teams preseason as of right now. You could talk me into that team's good enough to win it.
Yeah.
And just we got to say, I mean, so many teams have questions, and it's going to be fun to get answers and see who's legit and who's not. What sleeper teams like Indiana last year. Uh, so it's just this is going to be a great year of football, college football, and of course in the NFL, I don't have much hope for the Cowboys, and we'll get into them in a couple weeks. Next week will be heavy week one prep. We'll have some week one bets for sure. Week after that, we'll do our NFL prep, and I spoiler alert, I don't know if anybody can beat the Eagles in the playoffs.
Oh, dude, I
It
know.
pains me to say that, but I just don't. I was kind of doing some NFL look ahead uh, last week.
Too good, man. Too good. I
They're
just don't
I
know.
they're so good. The roster's so deep, and I don't see any team that got better in the offseason, or at least
No.
good enough. The Eagles. I mean, I think Washington's going to be pretty good, but they're
Yeah.
not. The Lions, there's no way they're going to be as good, losing both their coordinators. On the AFC, I mean, you still have Mahomes, but that the Eagles were so much better than the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe the Bills. Bills, maybe. I would love for the Bills to finally break through and get to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Anyway, we'll talk more NFL in a couple weeks when we get ready for that season. But we're back. Check us out, Gridiron Grind. We also have our website, gridirongrindsports.com. Check us out. We'll be back every week. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next week. See you,
See
Jimmy.
you. See ya.